Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Devotions. Pastor Steve walking with you in God's Word. We are in Genesis. No, we're not. We are into the next narrative, Exodus chapter 3. Have done Genesis for so long, it just continues to roll off my tongue. But now we've ventured into that narrative of Exodus where God's people, Israel, is in Egypt. And they've been in Egypt, as we learn later on in Exodus, for 430 years. And so God has heard their cries, as it says at the end of chapter 2, right? And God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant. And so when God remembers covenant, when he hears crying, when he wants to have compassion and mercy, he takes action. And that's what we get to see in Genesis chapter 3. He has laid out the narrative, especially through one man, his name being Moses, saved him from annihilation, saved him from death by floating him in an ark that was made by his family, and the basket in the Nile picked up by Pharaoh's daughter, raised in the household of Pharaoh, the best education, the best provision, the best clothing, everything, right? And being able to know that when he saw people mistreating each other, he took action. And then when they found out about that, he fled. He fled, as it says in chapter 2, to the place, as he goes to Midian, and as we get to see that southeast of Egypt. And so as he's fled southeast to Egypt, he's met with these daughters of Reuel, whose also other name is Jethro. And so as this story unfolds, we get to see God's action in one man for his people, Israel. Exodus chapter 3. Well known, but so in depth with God's narrative, in depth with the detail of how God is going to take action and where he's going to bring his people to walk with them, to take action in their community. Exodus chapter 3, beginning of verse 1. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, Reuel, as it says in chapter 3, or chapter 2, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Where is he? Southeast of Egypt, in the Midianite area. What we know of this and the mountain of God, or the Horeb as it's called, we get to see that this is in the vicinity, this is in the region of Sinai. A lot of people know Mount Sinai because that's where God brought his people to be able to speak to them with his law and shape them as a community. Well, before he brought Israel there, he brings Moses there to shepherd his flock, shepherd the flock of Jethro, but he's going to shepherd the flock of Israel as well, bringing them to Horeb, bringing them to Sinai, the Sinai region, as what we get to have there. Mountainous, desert-like, so pretty rigorous and hard to be able to actually find what is needed as a shepherd to its sheep, but this is Moses' allotment. From 40 years old to 80 years old, we get to see 40 years as he's tending the flock, as he's working these grounds, knowing this place. It just so happens that God has put him into place to be able to minister, to shepherd his people in that place beforehand. Amazing. God, Yahweh, as we're going to find out here in this chapter, always having that foresight. I pray that that ministers to you. Always having that foresight. He's not just walking with us in life and think, oh, didn't see that coming. We react in that way, but not God. God knows what's coming. God foretells what's coming. God foreknows what's coming. And so he prepares, he takes action with his people to equip them, to prepare them to be close to him, to hear from him, to see him taking action in their lives. Our God, Moses' God, as it will be, goes before him, prepares him for the very calling and purpose that he has for his kingdom. So we have the mountain of God. Verse 2. Not going very fast. I'll go a little quicker. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. An invitation, an encounter with God. A lot of times with fire and flames, right? When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. It's not holy because it's going to be the connection of the future, the vicinity of Sinai, whatever that may look like. It's holy because God is present there. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now, how will I take action? Go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. Whoa, 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 whoa. I got out of there because of Pharaoh and his knowledge of me. He was after my head. He was after my life. That wouldn't be the right action, God. I'm so glad that you are hearing the cries of your people, that you want to end their suffering, that you want to step towards their suffering and rescue them from that oppression, but just can't be me. I love how it's so pointed, right? The cry of the Israelites have reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now, go. I am sending, right immediately, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. Not to the land of Egypt, not to my people to rescue them, to Pharaoh. You are going to step over your fear. You're going to have the power of God over you, with you, to be over Pharaoh. The one who wanted to take your life isn't going to be the power over your life. Yahweh will. And this is where this narrative unfolds more and more, right? And God said, I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Wow. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? And what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. Which in the Hebrew there, it's Yahweh. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Go. Another go. Go, assemble the say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you, and I have seen what has been done to you in Egypt, and I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. Right? I have seen what is done to you, but I have promised to bring you up. Where did he promise to bring them up? He's the God of Abraham, the God of the covenant. He said to Abraham, I'm going to bring your descendants to this place. They will be in this land. Verse 18 says, the elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the desert to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. And I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed toward this people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in her house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and daughters. And so you will plunder the Egyptians. What a vision. What a vision. What a scary vision for Moses. But God knows the fear that resides in Moses. He knows the fear that resides in us. And he simply puts us at the beginning. Go to Pharaoh. Rescue my people. What do you need first and foremost? What do you need to be able to tackle your fears, to be able to walk into your fears, to step towards maybe a scary vision or frankly something in life? This very statement that God puts right up front. I will be with you. God is with us at all times, in all circumstances, stepping forth in faith, stepping forth in fear. God says, I am with you. I was with Abraham, I was with Isaac, I was with Jacob, I was with Joseph. I am with Moses. I am with you. All circumstances, any situations, God is with us. Thanks be to God. Have a blessed day.